Hello and welcome back to Pass the Torch Legacies in Jewelry. My name is Nadja de Savandiste, and this podcast is dedicated to having incredible conversations with the world's most renowned artisan jewelers and industry professionals. On occasion, I will also come on here and update you about my personal journey through jewelry as I grow and try to become a hand fabrication bench jeweler. So that sort of feeds me directly into the entire premise of this podcast episode, basically updating you guys throughout the week as I go through a platinum fabrication class. So I have been incredibly transparent about the fact that I have been battling it out with the metal platinum. And I say that because, working and operating out of a shop where it is just me, myself, and I. And so when you are trying to self-teach your way through anything, you have to play a lot. And I definitely did that and I got it wrong. So I contaminated a lot of platinum and I eventually got to a place where I was like, okay, I need help. I have been doing this myself for as far as I think I can take it. I took it as far as I could and ultimately just really needed to request a Hail Mary from anyone who I could phone a friend to. I did that. And it was worth it to get through those specific projects, but I knew that moving forward, if I wanted to seriously continue working with platinum, that I needed to elevate my skill level and understanding of the metal and the metallurgy around fabrication specifically, because that's where I want to be, which is obviously the most difficult skill set when it comes to platinum. You can have it casted, but I really want to learn how to fabricate with it. And so I was just at JCK last week and I flew directly to Nashville, Tennessee. There's a school out here called New Approach School for Jewelers, which was founded by Blane Lewis, and it has some other really great teachers there like Jason Marchiafava and a couple others as well who I haven't yet had the chance to meet. But Blane is teaching my class specifically. And I am just really impressed overall with the facilities. I feel like most people who are jewelers who are in the jewelry industry already know about New Approach School for Jewelers. And I have to say, it really lives up to the hype. At least the first 2 days that I've been here, I didn't record anything yesterday because I had just gotten in and I was so tired. But today I am feeling really good. I felt like I kept up throughout the pace of the class, which was encouraging. I thought that I was going to come in and everyone was going to be better than me and I was going to be falling behind, but I very much feel on pace with the class and am proud of the work that I'm putting together. There's definitely some tricks and tips that Blane has given me that I could not have figured out on my own. And that's the crux of it. Like, I did not know that you could so easily contaminate platinum by using steel tweezers or something like that. Oh my gosh, I did that so many times. I can't even tell you how many times I have probably grotesquely contaminated platinum, and it's because you don't know what you don't know. And so I probably should have taken this class well before I ever took on platinum jobs, but my jobs did turn out well. I did have to scrap the elements that did end up contaminated, so that was just my cost and I had to swallow that, and that was a painful wallet-wise learning process. So it probably in the long run would have saved me a lot of money to come out and have taken this class sooner, but I'm happy that I'm taking it now. And the pace of the class is really, really great. And in general, I think everyone in my class is super serious. So Blane says that every single class, every single new group of students has their own type of characteristics. And apparently we are the super quiet class where no one talks to each other. We just kind of sit there in silence. But to be honest, I don't even notice it. I'm locked in. I think everyone else is locked in. I think everyone has a really deliberate reason to be there and everyone is trying to learn. get their money's worth out of the class. And so that is probably why everyone feels so serious. But Blane is so lighthearted and happy to be there, and he breaks up the moments, and he makes me laugh. He gives me a good chuckle. But I think everyone is there because they need to be there. I think with just the way that the metal market is moving, people want to figure out if gold is going to keep going, that platinum is actually potentially the more affordable metal, which is crazy. Gold will always still be on the market, and gold is so much easier to work with, but just knowing how to work with platinum, I think, is a skill that I have really honed in on wanting to achieve. Like, I haven't gotten there yet, not even close, but I have it in my mind's eye that one day I'm going to be really good at it. So I'm speaking that into existence. I'm speaking that over myself, and I'm going in following up with the work and processes to execute. So I will continue to update as these days go by. But right now, I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying the town. I think it's a beautiful part of the country. Tennessee is magical. It feels like a fairyland. And the school that they designed, I just want to tilt my hat to them because they have created an oasis for jewelers, which is such a rarity. I think so often jewelers in our work environments are sort of, thrown in the back room, and it's grubby and it's dirty and there's no windows sometimes. And, especially if you're one of those New York City jewelers, it can be a little rough as to where your bench gets placed and, what you walk into every day for work. And so the fact that this is such a gorgeous property with a lake, and the building is so clean and elegant and well designed. It's actually literally a shape of a diamond, and the classrooms are fully equipped. That's so rare. Fully equipped classrooms, incredibly thought out. There's TVs everywhere so everyone can see. There's not a bad seat in the house. I just really commend them for putting in that much effort. I feel like that was a tall order, and they really, really delivered. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be talking about them, and am looking forward to taking more classes out here. I signed up for 2 more this year, so 3 total classes at New Approach this year, and we'll be diving in for all 3 of them. I am very lucky and grateful that I have that opportunity. So I will continue to update as the week goes on and my progress develops. But certain things that I didn't know that really changed the entire game as far as what it actually takes to work with platinum, what it actually takes to be a platinum fabricator. It's doable, but you have to wrap your head around it, and that takes time, and that takes practice and process, and I'm looking forward to achieving that in no ways down the road. So very briefly, before we continue on with this podcast episode, I want to thank Pepe Tools for sponsoring Pass the Torch. Pepe stands for Precision Engineered Professional Equipment, and I have had Pepe Tools in my personal shop from the very first day that I started hand fabricating. I knew that if I wanted to be a hand fabricator, I had to buy a rolling mill, and simply put, Pepe Tools was the best one on the market that I could afford, and it was the biggest purchase I have made in my life up until that point in regards to this like kind of little hobby that I had on the side, and then the hobby jewelry making completely consumed my life, and Pepe has been with me every step of the way. So whether you are a beginner or you are super advanced, Pepe has something for you. You can check out their inventory at pepetools.com. Thank you again, and here's the rest of the episode. Okay, new day. Just wrapped up Wednesday, which is the 3rd day of the platinum class. It felt like today the ice broke in the room. It felt like everyone was getting a little bit more comfortable. I am not kidding when I say that the first day, 2 days of class, nobody talked to each other. Everyone was so locked in. And now that we've kind of gotten over the really intensive elements of fabrication, we've kind of created our trellises, and no one's melted anything, and everyone's kind of like, whew, like breathed out a little bit, and everyone has successful projects. I think everyone's starting to just relax and get to know each other and talk to their neighbors and stuff like that. So that's been fun. It's been fun to talk to Blane. He's incredibly funny. And I actually felt like today I was panicking a little bit because I felt like I was falling behind. Everyone in this class is really good. Everyone came in with experience. And I was just like, gosh, am I just like so super slow? But I wasn't slow. I was right on par with where we were supposed to be. By the end of the day, like was good. He was also saying that this is like the fastest class that he's ever had. So everyone kind of came in and was like a strong arm and knew enough to like really get going and hunker down. So we're super ahead of schedule. So that made me feel a little bit better. I got really self-conscious there and I was like, "Oh my gosh, am I just sucking at this?" But yeah, no, they reassured me. Everyone on the new approach team was like, "No, you're doing great." Like I had one thing I had to fix and to do, then I had to go back around. And anyways, so that just it set me back for a hot minute, but by the end of the day I had caught up, and then everyone in the whole class is ahead of schedule. So I felt better about that. But I was just walking the new approach property and thought to myself, holy moly, like this took a lot to build. This is a very exquisite campus. And Blane even said, he was like, it almost killed him to build this school. And I understand why. And I would actually love to hear more from him and know from him exactly what it took to actually build this school. But I'm just impressed in general by the facility. Impressed with the classrooms. I'm impressed with the teaching, the staff, everything. It is a very special place. And I feel really lucky to have come out here as part of like this is kind of really the first like real class that I'm taking as far as jewelry goes. Like I took the design class with Alan, but we didn't touch jewelry. And then I tried to take my Jeff Park engraving class, but if you've been following along, you know that I got 103-degree fever along with double ear infections right at the start of that, basic engraving course. So I had to drop out and go home. So I have not taken that yet, but I did reschedule it. And so this is kind of like my first ever like class intensive where I've, really set aside, like put my life on pause to take this class. Obviously, if anyone is from Colorado, you know that Boulder Metalsmithing Association is up in Boulder. They're a fantastic local school, but they don't do like week-long intensives. They'll do a weekend, but this is just a different beast. This is a higher level. It's a higher skill level. I wish I had come out here to start my career. I wish I had come out right at the jump when I knew that I wanted to do this. I just at the time I couldn't afford it. And in some ways I feel like I'm paying for that now because I would have done a few things a little bit differently. I would have built out my shop a little bit differently. I would have built my bench a little bit differently now that I've seen how efficient the new approach systems are. So, you just kind of have to take that with a grain of salt. If anyone is listening to this and they haven't been to new approach yet, or if they haven't gone through any of their training, if they're super brand new, take the opportunity to do the 3-month like start to finish intensive that they offer, because that goes over like just, what is a torch and stuff like that. But then you start with all the correct knowledge from the beginning. And I looked into the program and I just simply couldn't afford it at the time. So I did what I could to fill the gaps, and now I'm out here and I'm grateful to have gotten out here eventually. And I'm definitely, up to par with everyone else in the class. I didn't feel like just because I haven't had, most people in this class that I'm in now have taken the 3-month. So they're all trained cohesively and connectively with this school, and I kind of came in as a first timer. And I do feel like I'm keeping up, and I feel like I am producing good work. So that's encouraging. And so I'm excited to, roll out the rest of the week and see what else is to come. Okay, second to last day. It's Thursday. If you are watching the video, you see me looking like Miss Frizzle over here with my hair. I have glasses, and when you are taking on or putting on, sorry, I'm tired. Words are hard right now. When you're putting on and taking off platinum glasses, brazing glasses over and over again, it pulls on my hair, and then it makes me, look like I got electrocuted. And I also am covered in polishing compound. So it's a good look right now. But I've got Sharpie on my hands. I've got, you know, didn't burn myself, didn't, cut myself. So that's a successful day in the shop, I guess. But I'm walking away a little dusty. So, the further I get into this class, the more I realize that there really isn't a substitute for it. Like, for me to have figured out what Blane has taught me over the last couple days on my own would have probably taken me 1 or 2 years. I think this class really just catapults you. And we spent a lot of time today specifically diving into metallurgy. And I really need that. I felt like a lot of the other students in the class were kind of like just listening and absorbing. But I feel for me, I want to understand on a granular level how all of the metal works and how all of it moves. And so I asked a lot of questions. I actually kind of felt bad. I felt like I was annoying everyone because I was getting just really deep into the nitty gritty of the details. But I think it was so important. Blane knew the answer to every question I was asking, and I felt like I walked away better equipped for my own projects. And keep in mind, I'm asking these questions because I have projects in my mind that I am trying to move forward and execute on. So, my questions are informed and they're very pointed, and I was grateful to have a place to be able to ask those. But I think for like the average repair jeweler, they may or may not care, if that makes sense. And so I felt like for a little bit, I mean, I'm maybe exaggerating in my mind. It was probably like 7 minutes of class time. I was the only person asking questions, and I didn't want to inconvenience anyone else, but I was just super curious and really needed to know. So it was great that, I was provided an environment. Blane pushes you really hard in this class. Like this is my first really formal class that's an intensive, that's multiple days beyond just a weekend ever. So I don't have, Jeweler Institute training or, really a formal apprenticeship at all. I have, mentors, and I've taken weekend classes, but I have not actually like been in a shop getting day in day out correction ever. So this is a big deal for me, and every fiber of me wishes that I had come out to this school a lot sooner. I looked into their long program, which is a 3-month intensive, and everyone who does it says that they love it and it's amazing and it's incredible. I couldn't afford it, and so I didn't go. And I thought, well, I'll give myself a year to basically go over everything that they go over in 3 months. And I do actually feel like I was able to do that kind of. I still feel like the 3-month program would have been better if I could have afforded it. I'm only going to do a class if I can afford to pay it outright. And so I basically waited a year and a half to be able to come take anything at New Approach, but it was worth it, and it's definitely worth getting out here eventually whenever you can do it. Because keep in mind, I also have the travel costs. I come from Colorado or in Tennessee. This is the most beautiful part of the country I think I've ever been to. I'm so mesmerized. It's the most quaint, beautiful town. It's high end for sure. It's lovely. It has so much charm. And you just drive onto the New Approach property because it is a property. It is an entire campus, that where Blane and his wife Jill built this beautiful. Gosh, guys, I am struggling to talk right now. I'm going to cut the video here probably. And okay, just wrapped the final day of class, and it really all came together for me in the last 24 hours. I am leaving feeling so encouraged. I was just reflecting on this last week. I had the best time. Our class was really, everyone came in with quite a bit of skill. So for a while, I was feeling behind. I walked away with a beautiful platinum mounting that I hand fabricated. And I'm walking away feeling like platinum's not that hard, which platinum kicked my butt a few months ago. So for me to now feel that way and be excited to be working in platinum is kind of honestly the Lord's work. Like this is exactly what I needed at this point in time in my learning. And so I'm just really grateful that it was available. I don't know of anyone else doing a specifically platinum class. And gosh, Blane is so knowledgeable. I wish I could just sit in front of him and pick his brain for hours. I'm super jealous of anyone who gets to work with him and connect with him and just absorb through osmosis all the information and all the knowledge that he has to share. I totally get why people rave about the 12-week program. This feels like just a snippet of what that is, but just to have the opportunity to take advanced level classes. Again, this is my first class ever, and I want to take more. I want to do more. I feel creatively energized. I keep thinking about all the things that I can go home in my own shop and start producing. And that is just what you, as a creative, you need that. You need to continuously level up your skills, and you need to continuously feel like you have access to artistic creative community that, at least that's me, right? Like maybe that's not all artists. I do know some people who just really thrive being just like completely figuring everything out on their own. That's not how I'm wired. I really want to be with people because it makes me happy. And I realize that I've set myself up to work in a shop that's by myself. I am alone in my shop. So that's why it's so important for me to get out and I think do these types of classes that are really challenging and push my skill level so that when I do go back, I'm so focused on the work that I'm not feeling like I'm missing out on the camaraderie of a multi-person shop. But yeah, it definitely took a while for the class to warm up. I think the first few days everyone was so quiet. And today everyone was like yapping and having a really like good time talking shop. I think everyone was totally dialed in and had a lot of great questions. It was just a different vibe today. It all came together. I think yesterday I was a little stressed and just delirious because I just wanted to finish and finish well. And I did. I did get the opportunity to do that. And so, yeah, I can't rave about it enough. It was so great. And I want to do more. I had a great time. I will be back at New Approach in August for the advanced stone setting class, and also in November for Jason Martiofava's 5-day pave. He also has a 10-day pave, which, yeah, no, I'm not ready for. I need to do the baby pave, and maybe in a couple years I'll feel like I can do the 10-day pave. Apparently it's a pretty incredible, life-changing class. I'm not there yet. Awesome. All right, everybody, have a good one. I will see you on the next episode. Cheers.